So I don't have much experience with growing wheat, and I've not seen whether the weeds look similar to wheat. But when I was in novitiate, I was in charge of the vegetable garden, and we used to grow lettuce. And this is true, the weeds among lettuce look very similar to the leaves of the lettuce plant, and you cannot tell the difference until they are much older. But then when they are much older, the roots of the weeds are completely intertwined with the roots of the lettuce plant. And so you cannot quite remove the weeds out without damaging the lettuce plant. And so Jesus here tells us a similar parable, that there are weeds, and the owner says not to remove the weeds because it will damage the good plants as well. But it doesn't end well for the weeds, right? In the end, the weeds are gathered and thrown into the fire. So it's not like you just let the weeds do whatever they want and all is good in the end. In the end, when you harvest the lettuce or the wheat, you will throw the unwanted, the bad plants away. And this can be immensely consoling, immensely comforting, but also slightly terrifying. It can be consoling because in this world here, we often wonder, how do people who do bad things succeed, or what we think is successful, right? People who are cheating or who are corrupt or who are using violent means, they seem to be doing well in life. And we wonder, why is God not doing anything? Why is God not taking the weeds out and throwing them in the fire? Why is God not keeping us, the good plants, peacefully away from all these weeds? What is God doing? Why is God asleep? But Jesus says in the end, God will harvest both the wheat and the weeds will be thrown into fire. So it is consoling, because in the end, there will be justice. Whoever is doing bad things will be thrown into the fire. I mean, this is a clear place where Jesus says that those who are doing bad things will be thrown into the fire. So we can trust that God is still in charge, even though today we might feel alone or isolated or away from God's presence because all those who are doing evil out there seem to be succeeding. We can trust that God is still in charge and justice will be done in the end. Also, positively, those who are doing good things will be gathered by God and put into God's barn. So those of us who are doing good things will be gathered by God and taken to heaven. That's very consoling, right? We are persevering in this life in trying to do good because we trust that God, in the end, will gather us and take us with Him. So that's a good thing, right? Those who are doing good will be rewarded, and those who are doing evil will be thrown into fire. Now it's slightly terrifying as well, because the line between good and evil passes through every human heart. The line between good and evil passes through my heart. I'm both good and evil. All of us have tendencies towards doing evil things. None of us is perfect, right? Satan sows the seeds of evil into all our hearts. All of us are tempted to do something or the other that is not according to God's teaching. So it is slightly terrifying that we have weeds in our own hearts, and in the end, those weeds will be thrown into fire. So what do we do on this side of heaven before Jesus comes again to gather the harvest? What do we do? Well, one of the things we can do is try to feed the good side. Every day is a choice. God has given us free will, so every day is a choice. Will you be trying to do good, or will you give up to the dark side? We all have the dark side, so every day is a choice. So to take the analogy of the weeds, maybe we cannot uproot the weeds entirely, but you can at least try and cut the stalks, right? Because they won't grow as quickly. If you cannot uproot it from your life entirely, at least try to prevent evil from taking over your life. So every day is a choice to feed the good side and to starve the dark side. So maybe in your relationships with your family, with your co-workers, with your friends, how do you feed the good side? Can you give a kind word to people around you? Can you love them? Can you do something for them without seeking reward? If somebody asks for your help, are you willing to put your own work aside and step up to help someone? It's these small things. All of us won't be like St. Francis Xavier, going off to distant lands and baptizing hundreds of thousands of people. Most likely not. But it's the small things that we do every day that feed the good side and starve the dark side that's within us. Secondly, we cannot write anybody off, right? God is allowing everybody to grow, everybody to live on this world. In this world, we have all sorts of people, and God is allowing them to live here. So we cannot write anybody off. God has a plan for everybody. So from our side, how do we encourage each other to live the good life? God has put everybody in this world, whether we like them or not. They are here because God wants them to be here. You are here because God wants you to be here. And I am here because God wants me to be here. So all of us are here because God wants us to be here. And so we cannot write anybody off. God has God's plans for everybody. And we ourselves try our best to feed the good side and to starve the evil side. So today, my brothers and sisters, let us ask God to give us the strength to fight the good fight, to fight off the weeds. We can ask God to give us the wisdom, the discernment, so we can recognize what is good and what is evil, so that we can feed the good side and starve the evil side. And one day, we hope all of us will be with God in heaven.